that the grace in Christ is what you need in order to be strengthened. And what that first sentence kicks off is all these other things that Timothy is going to be enabled to do. This grace that's going to strengthen you and strengthen me and strengthen Timothy is a grace that enables you to entrust the grace to other people. It is the grace that enables you to join in suffering, to endure difficulty. It is the grace that will allow you to remember Jesus Christ. It's the grace that's going to allow you to live in such a way that you suffer everything for the sake of the elect. You know, that's one of the most important things to understand. When you're going through trials, get your mind off yourself and onto someone else. Notice what Paul is doing. He's in jail. He's about to die. And he says he endures everything what? For his own sake? No, for the sake of the elect. That's one of the most freeing things a person could do, is be concerned for other people. How concerned are you for one another? How many of you have reached out to each other this week to say, hey, how can I pray for you? What do you need? Let me tell you. This is the way we think. Well, I didn't have time, or I don't have time, or I got my own pressures and all these kind of things. You know what happens when you start concerning yourself with others? You know what happens? Especially when you're doing it in the grace that Christ is supplying you. You know what happens? You start seeing other people's problems as bigger than your own. And you start being more concerned about them than you are about you. You're concerned, that's what Paul's saying here. He's more concerned for the elect. That's what he's suffering for. He's suffering because he believes that Christ is working in these people and he wants to be part of it. Isn't that great? You get to do that. So this grace is enabling Timothy to identify with Christ. He says if we died with him, we'll live with him. We'll endure with him. And it's enabling Timothy to not deny Christ. It's all grace from beginning to end. This grace is going to enable Timothy to not quarrel with people. It's going to enable him to present himself to God as approved. It's going to enable him to be a worker who has no need to be ashamed. It's going to make sure that he stays clear of irreverent babble and getting into disputes and arguments that don't matter. It's going to be grace that enables him to adopt what the Lord is actually doing, and that I'm not going to concern myself whether people are saved or not. My job is simply to give out the gospel because the Lord knows those who are his. Right? The Lord knows those who are his. And it's going to enable Timothy to lead others and depart himself from iniquity. It's going to make him a useful vessel in the house. It's going to enable him to flee youthful passions. It's going to enable him to pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace. This is what this grace does. It's going to enable him to have nothing to do with foolish or ignorant controversies that breed quarrels. It's going to enable him to be able to teach, to patiently endure evil, to correct his opponents with gentleness. It is going to enable him to, as he corrects his opponents, to not trust in what he's saying, but trust in the power of God that frees people from Satan and from their darkness. That's what this grace enables Timothy to do. That's what this grace will enable you to do.